Hey everyone, Jeff Dorman, Chief Investment Officer at ARCA, back again for another edition of That's Our Two Satoshis Live, where we talk about everything happening in the digital asset market. For those who follow our blog, also called That's Our Two Satoshis, you can read that on our website, ar.ca/blog. And again, we do this every week, and let's dive into it. So, unless you were living under a rock or were fortunate enough to sleep through the weekend, it's you know you saw the Trump coin. The Trump coin got released on Friday. Probably one of the most bizarre and polarizing events in crypto's young history, possibly capital markets history. I mean, it was incredibly bizarre. The market was already on pins and needles ahead of this weekend because of the inauguration, and all of a sudden on Friday, you get this coin launch. So for those who don't know, I did a recap in the actual write-up if you want to see some details on what the Trump token is. But bottom line, Trump had a crypto ball on Friday ahead of the inauguration on Monday. He launched a meme coin. It shot up to like a $75 billion market cap. It was built on Solana. It was up, I don't know, something like 30,000% at one point from the very bottom to the peak. I think Trump himself and his family increased their net worth by something like $20 billion, sort of a fake number given that he had a 3-year lockup on these tokens. But, bottom line here, Trump capitalized on the meme coin craze, and who has a better meme than Trump himself? So trading volumes were enormous. It sent the Solana token up almost 40% over the weekend before crashing back down. Part of that rally was just because this is on a weekend, so it's hard to get money in and out of the system on weekends. So anybody who wanted to participate in the Trump token basically had to swap into Sol and then use that Sol to buy the token. So that's why Sol shot higher. At one point, I think Moonshot, which was featured on the Trump website as the best way to play the Trump token, MoonPay, the app, onboarded I think 500,000 new subscribers just because of this token. Then chaos ensued when Melania issued a token, all kinds of volatility. A lot of people going crazy on crypto Twitter, as you can imagine. Some calling this the end of crypto because Trump is exploiting meme coins. Some people calling it the most bullish thing ever. Let's take a deep breath. Let's make sense of what happened here. So, again, to start, this was already a weekend where people were fearful, right? You had anything from thinking about what Trump was going to do with the day one executive orders to potentially announcing or talking about a Bitcoin strategic reserve. I just want to point out that this was just total nonsense. I mean, I've been trading events and catalysts in financial markets for 25 years across debt, equity, currencies, commodities, and now crypto. Nobody outside of crypto was playing the inauguration as an event. This was completely contrived by Arthur Hayes, who put out a blog a couple months ago talking about how his fund was going to start selling tokens around the inauguration because this is some big event. Inaugurations are not events. Elections are events. It's very binary. You don't know who's going to be the winner. That's an event. An inauguration where somebody is being sworn in and there's no mystery whatsoever into the fact that he's being sworn in was not an event. So the fact that crypto turned this into some convoluted event in the first place just, again, shows you the immaturity and the youngness of this market. More importantly, let's not forget that Trump was president once before. From 2016 to 2020, Trump moved equity markets, commodity markets, debt markets, currency markets all the time with random tweets and random announcements. He was the first president to ever use social media. He was the first president to ever just have these off-the-cuff comments all the time, right? Every president prior to Trump had very scheduled PR releases, chief of staff meetings, right? It was very organized. The market knew when something was coming from the president. Not Trump. It was everywhere. Why don't crypto people remember this? Well, a lot of crypto people weren't in the market in 2016 and 2020. A lot of crypto people, quite frankly, just didn't know this was happening because it was not affecting crypto back in 2016 and 2020 because Trump didn't care about crypto back then. So it was only affecting other markets like equities and debt and commodities, et cetera. So what we saw this weekend is just a preview of what we're going to see every day for the next 4 years. Trump is unpredictable. He's going to create volatility. It does not matter that he had a scheduled inauguration. He's going to do this, probably by the time you guys watch this, there'll be something else coming out of Trump's camp. So this weekend in particular, the market just lost its mind on this Trump coin, completely missing the plot of what this means. So let's dive into, again, away from the market. Overall, the market was up slightly last week, with tons of volatility over the weekend. Again, Sol was one of the winners. The Trump coin was one of the winners. You saw maybe AI get beat up a little bit because there was a little bit of a capital suck out of some AI and some other meme coins into Trump. But again, let's take a step back and think about what this means. So the pushback for the last 3 years from any potential token issuers and potential investors in the US particularly has been that regulatory concerns are something that makes this uninvestable. This overnight was completely eradicated when the president became both a token issuer and a token investor. Don't forget, he also has World Liberty Financial, where he's investing in plenty of DeFi coins. So if you're still using regulatory uncertainty as a negative bias, you're clouding reality, right? There is no way to view this anything other than incredibly positive for the industry, because it unlocks potential issuers, it unlocks potential investors. Sure, there's a bunch of crypto natives who are completely dejected and sad because something that they've worked so hard on for so many years is now a joke because of the Trump meme coin. But that's a completely pointless, tiny part of this. The big part of this is the president of the United States just signaled it's okay to issue tokens, it's okay to invest in tokens. That's number one. Now, again, more importantly, just because the president decided to issue a meme coin doesn't mean the entire world is only going to focus on meme coins, right? Trump validated the technology, yet introduced only one use case of the technology. So two things can be true at the same time. One, meme coins are fun, kind of silly, achieve a completely different goal, no different than gambling or monetization of brands. Point two, many businesses, projects, and future blockchain technology enthusiasts are going to look at the other sectors of the economy, the crypto economy, things like DeFi and gaming and AI and telecom and data and you name it, right? So you can be sad that Trump decided to issue a meme coin rather than something more serious, or you can look ahead that the green light is now out there for any company and project to take advantage of the different things that they might be working on in blockchain. Just because things were issued on the same technology doesn't mean you have to lump them together, right? So again, you can separate a Trump meme coin from other areas of blockchain. Let's take this further. Let's look at the internet boom in the early 2000s and late 90s, early 2000s, okay? Back then, everything was called a .com, right? Because these were companies and businesses that would not have existed if not for the internet. So we had to separate these companies and call them .coms. Most of these .coms failed. A few of them became really big. That's not what made the internet the internet. The internet became massive when tons of other companies that had nothing to do with the internet started to adopt the internet. Walmart, Domino's Pizza, JP Morgan, all these regular companies that have been around for hundreds of years started to use the internet. They weren't called .coms. They were just companies using the internet. So what happened? The .com moniker went away because it was no longer a unique qualifier. If you by 2025, if you're not using the internet, you're out of business. Let's go back to the Trump token. It signaled to every company, municipality, university, individual brand that crypto and blockchain can now be used as a capital formation and customer bootstrapping mechanism. We've been talking and writing about this forever, right? New York City is eventually going to have a token one day. What could this token look like? It might give token holders discounts on buses and subways. It might give you a fast pass at LaGuardia and JFK. It might give you a special dividend if the city has a surplus. Harvard University will have a token, right? This will be a place that boosters and donors, when they donate, they get this token in return. Maybe you can use this token for tuition in the future or for room and board. Netflix, Amazon, Disney, they'll all have tokens. The token will give you 10 or 20% of top line revenue, but it'll also give you discounts on memberships and all these things. All of these things are now in play that we've been talking about for years because the president basically said it's okay to touch crypto. Okay. This is what happens in a crypto-friendly environment. So again, when your crypto native friend is freaking out and calling crypto over because the president made a joke out of a meme coin, that's completely missing the point, right? All of a sudden, we're going to see all of this experimentation, all of this innovation flow back into the digital asset markets. And by the way, everybody outside of crypto is now talking about crypto because of the Trump coin. So we have now officially left this .crypto phase of blockchain where only crypto native companies can participate in this. And all of a sudden, we're going to enter this new phase where everything is a crypto or blockchain company because you're going to start seeing these other entrants into the market. Now, that doesn't mean everything's going to go higher, right? You're not going to have an everything rally in crypto. You're going to have all these quote unquote .coms or .cryptos that go away because they're going to get beat out by the incumbents that come in using this technology. But select investments in this space are going to do incredibly well because the market is going to start focusing on blockchain again. So the immediate reaction over the weekend was kind of silly, right? Again, Sol surging higher and everything else going lower was sort of dumb, right? I mean, that's an indication that the market viewed this as crypto is now a joke, and the only place to issue jokes is on the Solana blockchain, and therefore Solana's higher, Trump is higher, everything's else lower. As we came into Monday and Tuesday and more level-headedness, a lot of other things started to rally as well, because again, this is a bullish event. So, a lot of people calling for the end of crypto or the end of the cycle because of this. This is just 2022 PTSD. These are people who got hurt so bad in 22 that they just can't fathom crypto going higher again. It's no different than what happened in the equity and debt markets in 2008. You can talk to tons of veterans like myself who were trading and investing back then, and everyone was like, it's over, market's going to zero. It took a long time for people to start investing in debt and equities again after, and even real estate again after 2008. But it does eventually happen. You get past this PTSD. So I think Trump and President of the United States basically just signed up to a DJ. Or I should back up. Like, a lot of people think the music is going to stop. I don't think so. I think Trump is basically the DJ now for the next 4 years. I don't care about the Trump token. I don't really care about meme tokens. They're not interesting to me. It's just one use case of blockchain technology, but it's an important step in the right direction for other companies and businesses to use this. So why was this such a crazy event over the weekend? Well, as always, Trump is a very polarizing human being, right? Some people love him, some people hate him, some people, love crypto, some people hate crypto. When you take two incredibly polarizing things, crypto and Trump, it's going to create insane volatility. But let's not forget that this kind of, this kind of societal attitude is not being invented by Trump. It's not being invented by crypto, right? I mean, you've already had things like Hawk Tuah and the creator economy and all kinds of instantaneous gains and fame happening long before crypto came about. So all Trump is doing is exploiting something that already existed. So again, it's polarizing because it's Trump. It's polarizing because it's crypto. But at the end of the day, all it is a validation of a new technology. So with that in mind, for the people who are freaking out about this killing crypto, I will remind you that every asset class has a few dumb, silly things in it, right? And if you measured every single asset class solely by the dumbest and silliest components of that asset class, you would never invest in anything, right? So if you're going to judge crypto by Dogecoin and Trump, even though it's a very small sliver of the overall industry, then you have to measure equities by its dumbest components, which is GameStop and other meme stocks, or all these SPACs that went to down 90%. You'd have to measure fixed income by its dumbest components, like Caesar's holdco debt after it was completely primed after an LBO, or CDS squared, or Argentinian bonds that went to basically zero, or Austrian 100-year bonds. Real estate, you'd have to measure them by its dumbest components, things like timeshares and the Las Vegas boom in 2008, and more recently, uninsured homes in the Palisades. Right? Does that mean real estate is a bad or dumb asset class just because there's a few dumb examples? No, it makes no sense. We have to start looking deeper and beyond just what happened this weekend. So, with that in mind, I implore you to talk to somebody who is not a native crypto person. My wife is a doctor. My wife is in the OR right now texting me about all the doctors and patients talking about crypto. Fox News, right before I came in here, talking about the Trump coin and Solana, right? People who are not in crypto Twitter are celebrating this as a huge win for crypto and something really new and exciting. People in crypto Twitter are fighting with each other and pulling their hairs out, trying to make sense out of what happened on Friday night. You got to take a breath. You got to take a step back. In my opinion, this is probably one of the most bullish events that has ever happened. Trump token, love it or hate it, probably ultimately irrelevant by itself. What matters is that we just ushered in a new era of token launches, a new era of investors, and you will soon see why tokens are the greatest capital formation and customer bootstrapping mechanism ever created. So if you want more details on all of that, I encourage you to read the blog, reach out to us with any questions. We will see where the market goes from here, but I am very encouraged by this, and I'm very much looking forward to the really cool stuff that comes out of this market, the really dumb stuff, the volatility. It's all good. We'll see you next week. Thanks for joining.